It was a slow Tuesday evening at a quiet, dimly lit diner on the outskirts of Los Angeles, the kind of place that time forgot, where the jukebox hummed soft rock classics and the scent of fresh coffee lingered in the air. The neon sign outside flickered, casting a soft blue glow over the rain-slicked pavement. It was just another ordinary night, or at least it should have been. And then she walked in, not as a customer, not as a superstar, but as a waitress. Lana Del Rey, yes, that Lana Del Rey, was standing behind the counter, wearing a simple white apron over a baby blue dress, her signature winged eyeliner as flawless as ever. She held a notepad in one hand, a coffee pot in the other, and yet, somehow, no one seemed to notice, except for one person. This is the story of how a global icon, a chart-topping artist, and the voice of a generation decided to slip into an ordinary life for just one night, and the one lucky person who saw through the disguise. It had started as a joke, or maybe a challenge. Lana had always been fascinated by the mundane, the poetry hidden in the cracks of everyday life. She wrote about motels, diners, faded dreams, and lonely highways, so why not experience it for herself? She had told no one except the manager, a grizzled old man named Frank, who had barely looked up from his newspaper when she made the request. "Sure, sweetheart," he had grunted. "Just don't spill the coffee." And so, for one night, Lana Del Rey was not a pop star. She was just another waitress in a roadside diner. But there was one thing she hadn't accounted for. Mr. I had walked in just as she was refilling a cup of coffee at the counter. At first, I thought I was hallucinating. Maybe I had been staring at my laptop screen for too long, drowning in deadlines and caffeine. Maybe I was just sleep-deprived. But then she turned around, and that voice, the one that had whispered through my headphones on endless late-night drives, said, "What can I get you?" And just like that, the world tilted on its axis. I didn't react immediately. I didn't want to be that person, the one who shouted across the room, the one who ruined whatever quiet moment she was trying to have. So, I played along. Just coffee," I mumbled, trying to act normal. She nodded, poured the coffee, and slid it across the counter. It was surreal. She took orders, cleared plates, refilled drinks. No one recognized her, or if they did, they chose to keep the illusion intact. The regulars barely looked up from their newspapers. A couple in the corner whispered quietly over their milkshakes. The hum of conversation blended with the jukebox, which, by some cosmic coincidence, started playing Summertime Sadness. She caught my gaze and smirked. "Fitting, huh?" I nearly choked on my coffee. Over the next hour, I watched as she moved effortlessly through the space, blending into the background, soaking in the atmosphere. And then, when the rush had died down, she slid into the seat across from me. "You're the only one who noticed," she said, stirring a sugar packet into her coffee. I hesitated. "Why are you doing this?" She shrugged. "I write about places like this. I sing about them. I figured I should know what it really feels like." For a moment, the world outside disappeared. It was just the two of us, sitting in a tiny booth in a nowhere diner, talking about life like old friends. She told me about the weight of fame, the way people looked at her but never really saw her, about how she missed the days when she could just be Lizzie, before the stages, before the headlines, before the name Lana Del Rey belonged to the world. And I told her about me, my boring job, my endless deadlines, my half-finished novel that no one would ever read. She listened like it mattered, like I mattered. Outside, the rain started falling harder. The neon sign buzzed. The world kept turning, and then, Just as suddenly as she had arrived, she stood up, smoothed out her apron, and smiled. I should get back to work. I wanted to ask for a picture, an autograph, something to prove that this night had actually happened. But I didn't. Some moments are too perfect to capture, so I just nodded, finished my coffee, and left a tip on the counter. As I reached the door, she called after me. "Hey." I turned. She grinned. "Don't forget to finish that novel." And just like that, she was gone. A waitress, a superstar, a legend, or maybe just a girl who wanted to feel real for one night. I never saw her again. Not like that anyway. But sometimes, when I pass by that old diner, I wonder, did anyone else figure it out? Did they recognize her and just keep the secret? And more importantly, will she ever do it again? Now, I want to hear from you. If you had the chance to meet Lana Del Rey in the most unexpected way, what would you say to her? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more unbelievable stories like this one.